Yeah. What's up, everybody? This is MayaJanai, and this is You and You podcast. It stands for Unseen and Unheard. This podcast will be discussing topics unfiltered and completely raw. Let's get into it. Today's topic is about the spiritual battle and how we maintain that spiritual battle. The first question, I guess, that we should hash out first is, what is a spiritual battle, or what do we consider a spiritual battle? A spiritual battle for everybody could seem and come across differently, but for the most part, here's some examples of what a spiritual battle could be. It could look like not having the energy to get up out of bed in the morning. It could be simply having the wrong people around you. It could be not having the best financial situation. It could be completely like just zoning out. That's a battle in the mind where you're just constantly going back and forth with yourself. It could also look like staying in a relationship that's not good for you for too long. Toxic relationships, that's another sign of a spiritual battle. Everything that can keep you kind of in a up and down lower state would be considered a spiritual battle. Even fatigue, you fighting tiredness, or like not having the desire to eat sometimes, or depression. It's a good way to put it, sometimes, but it doesn't always look like a low. So those are just some examples of what it looks like, or what it can look like. The spiritual battle are like the unseen parts of ourselves that seem to affect our everyday lives, whether that's our emotions, whether that's our thoughts, that's other people's thoughts and emotions, on top of what we call our soul, our spirit. We are affected or guided or influenced by that, whether we like to admit it or not. So the battle that we are dealing with is really internal. It's really ourselves. So when we say how do you maintain that, the best thing that you can do is to know yourself, know what's within. But with all that being said, when we get into the discussion, you'll see that we talk about how much of it's a journey, it's a process, and it's all about acceptance and learning to love and understand your relationship with God. I think the best way to pursue a spiritual battle is knowing that you're in a spiritual battle, understanding that you're not alone in this fight. It's like being aware, like, and basically knowing yourself. So we talked about seeking self as part of maintaining yourself in a spiritual battle, and I think that's really, really important. When we're here on this earth, we feel like finding ourselves is making ourselves comfortable, and that's good, you know what I'm saying? But I think we just have this one idea of, let me make money, let me get a house, let me find my spouse, or find somebody that I feel like is my companion and someone to live in. Pretty much that's just life, and that's just how it goes. But how I see life, I feel like seeking yourself is going for all the parts of ourselves that we do fear. So it would be removing ourselves and putting ourselves in an uncomfortable situation sometimes. Sometimes to find yourself, you're gonna have to do something that your other self or a part of you would necessarily not usually do. Trying new things, trying new foods, being out with different people, and doing those things in your mind that you're usually like, no, I don't think I should do that. Question yourself. Question you. That's how you seek yourself. I think it's really hard for people to understand that, because this world really tries to deny that God exists, and that we have a spiritual side to us. Another major way of maintaining yourself in a spiritual battle is knowing what a spirit is. So the question is, what is a spirit? Well, Google's definition is kind of lame, but my definition of what a spirit is like the essence of a person, or like everything about this world and about us people that you cannot see per se. For example, your emotions is a spirit, in my opinion, happiness, sadness, anger, jealousy. These are all different kind of spirits. These are all things that we can't see, that we feel, that can literally take over a person sometimes, and can either affect our day in a positive way or affect our day in a negative way. I actually inserted a clip that kind of explains what I'm talking about what a spirit is, how a spirit is energy, and gives a good explanation of that.
Our spirits, and basically the importance of not only knowing this, but how to make sure that you are always in control of your emotions and not allowing your emotions to take control of you. Now, emotions are spirits, just like a whole slew of other energies and entities. They are spirits that we can use to our will and be able to use that energy to take whatever action we deem necessary for that moment. Emotions do not have power over us. We have power over our emotions. In fact, we created emotions. If our ancestors created those, then we have power over them. Okay, basically means they fuck with us. Okay, so when it comes to emotions, all emotions, happiness or joy, anger, sadness, depression, jealousy, all those different types of emotions should never take over. Okay, when those emotions take over, that's when we become emotional. We are gods, and the only one that came before us and holds the highest of the high, right, is Ptah, the Most High. So what does that mean? That means any other energies that came after Atum is a part of Atum. Okay, so that's another way of saying whatever was created after we came into existence, whatever was created, we created that. All right, so that means that our creation does not have power over us. We are supposed to have power and control over our creation. So what does it look like when something you created starts telling you what to do, starts telling you how to act, starts telling you, get riled up? You lose control. No good, no bueno, okay? We execute creation. We should have control over creation. We need to have control over our emotions.
Okay, so I was asking myself, like, okay, so why is it important for people to know, like, that emotions are spirits? And I wrote everything down, so give me a second. Why it's important to understand that emotions are spirits? It's important to know because we've been miseducated on what emotions are. Therefore, we haven't been tending to our emotions, our spirits, properly due to lack of knowledge about what they truly are. When you lack control over your emotions, then you can easily be manipulated because we live in a world that's emotionally driven. And what an emotionally driven world means is what the world looks like today. So that means that we are easily moved either in a negative or a positive way due to how something or someone makes us feel. And this is why art, visuals, music is so powerful because it has the power to move your spirit. It has the power to move your emotions. So when you aren't in control of your emotions, then you're not really grounded in yourself. It's like you're allowing other energies, spirits, or entities to control you. And this is important because this is the same information that's being used against us right now. Big corporations like to put subliminal messages in TV programs and politics, clothing, music, just our whole culture, you know, subliminal messages as in things that they know are going to send or cause an emotional rise. And if we were in control of our emotions, we would see that something is being used in that way to trigger us. It's basically like when we're not grounded in ourselves, then we're not really using our spiritual eyes the best way that we can. So therefore, we're not being fully equipped in the spiritual battle, if we're not aware or knowing these things about ourselves. Like she said in the video, if spirits or if emotions are the one thing that we do have control over, then that is something that we need to practice understanding and getting a hold of. We're basically just allowing someone else to tell us exactly what to do with our emotions. Okay, I know I did a breakdown of why I believe that emotions are spirits, but I still want everybody to understand, like, or have an idea of what a spirit is.
What is a spirit? There are good spirits and evil spirits, the Holy Spirit. You can be in high spirits or in low spirits. You can show team spirit, have a fighting spirit, be a free spirit. You can be possessed by spirits, commune with spirits, or consume spirits. You can embrace the spirit of adventure, or get in the spirit of Christmas. That's the spirit. In the Bible, the word for spirit is the same as for wind and breath. And we can still see this multi-layered meaning in words that come from the same root. Respiration, perspiration, inspire, expire, conspire, transpire, aspire. All of these words are related to breathing and spirit. When we inspire someone, we breathe spirit into them. When something expires, the spirit is breathed out. It dies. Just as wind and breath is not the air itself, it's the force that moves the air. So too, spirit is not the body or soul, it's the force that moves it. And the direction in which it moves depends on the spirit that's doing the pushing.
I hope everybody got a good grasp on what he meant by, like, the spirit is what drives you, it's what moves you, it's the force behind, like, it's like the motive behind everything that we do.
Light is energy. Energy is everything.
Okay. What about these salt shakers?
Energy.
This table.
Energy.
You and me.
Oh, come on.
Shut up, nigga, damn! See we talking? You were saying?
Energy.
Basically, energy. Spirits are energy. The next clip that I'm going to insert is about energy and how we use energy for ourselves.
So let's talk about what energy is, where you can get it from, and what the number one sources of energy are on this earth. Any source of usable power. Got it.
Aha, so it generates from the Latin word surgere.
And surgere translates to the English word surge, which means to rise up or spring up. And we all know that surge is a form of electrical communication. Now, who else was it that said that we were electrical by nature? Dr. Sabi. So let's recap. Energy is equal to source, and source is equal to surge, and surge is electricity. So at the very least, you need electricity just to be able to power your thoughts. Can you think of some sources where you can get your electricity from? Because I can. You can get it from the food that grows from the earth. You can get it from water. You can get it from fire, and you can get it from wind. Didn't our ancestors tell us that the 4 elements were important for a reason? Yeah, they're our creators. All of them have the ability to generate life, operate within it, and destroy it when necessary. That's the power of God.
And can you guess who else has the ability to generate, operate, and destroy life?
What's happening is that most of us who are lacking in energy, we think it's okay to take it from somebody else. And that's where the energy work needs to come in. Because everything that comes into this reality has to come in through the spirit world first, which means there is a war on your spirit.
In Latin, spirit translates into breath.
And when you have a healthy mind, body, and spirit, you can literally pull prana or energy straight from the air without needing any physical source of food at all. In other words, energy is your main source of currency. This is how you trade with people, and you can either give it to them voluntarily or they can steal it from you. So guard your energy, and you can guard that by being selective about what goes in your body through your mouth, your eyes, your ears, and who you allow in your environment.
Well, we always say, my body's my vessel, but does anybody actually know what that means? Your vessel, like, this is basically like your avatar body. this is what keeps you here on this earth. Like, this is how you're here on earth, is because of this body, this fleshly, physical thing that a lot of people just call meat sack. What energies or spirits you pour into your vessel is what you become, like said in the podcast.
If you take whatever you take in, you're going to be, period. If you want to prepare yourself for a battle, what are those things that come to mind with the battle that you're facing? You know what I'm saying? Whether you're dealing with depression, if you're feeding yourself stuff that's going to make you depressed, you think you're going to win a battle of depression? No, you ain't.
You'll start to understand what serves you and what doesn't serve you, and why it's important to abide and align with certain spirits that you need at the time.
It wasn't until my second spiritual awakening, aka happening right now, that I truly understood the spiritual body connection. One part of that is how our trauma lives in our body. It gets stuck in there. And if we don't acknowledge that and do the work to release those emotions, then we're not going to be very happy. It's only going to get worse and worse and worse until we finally do something about it. And secondly, our consciousness lives in this vessel, our body. The best thing we can do to take care of our spiritual selves is to take care of our physical body, because this vessel is what is carrying us through life, allowing us to have this human experience. We wouldn't be here without it. We cannot protect and honor and truly live our spiritual self authentically if our physical body is not being taken care of.
So with that being said, a part of maintaining yourself in the spiritual battle is maintaining your body, your physical body. So what do you think that means? Maintaining your physical body would have to be exercise, putting the right things into your body that your body physically needs to have inside of it. Movement, or maybe your body needs a lack of movement right now. Maybe your body needs to rest. Really taking care and tending to your physical body in every shape or form. That is part of maintaining yourself in the spiritual battle, because this body, this vessel, is what we have here on this physical planet. So you should probably take care of your body a lot, because it's connected to your spiritual body. Your physical body is connected to your spiritual body, your emotional body, your mental, like everything. It's all connected. It's connected to the universe. The universe is just one accord, one hearse, one entire connection, collective consciousness. As said in the clip, another major key to maintaining in the spiritual battle is understanding that we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
You have to remind yourself, like, I am human, and these mistakes, you know what I'm saying, are really just steps. And once you see it, acceptance, let's go back, acceptance, once you see it, then you know what to do next.
Acceptance is also understanding that you are not a failure. We like to shame ourselves or hold these certain ideologies over ourselves that can put us down, and realistically, it's all a part of the game. It's all a part of what we need to do to get there. You're going to need the experience to create wisdom, and you're going to have your trials and tribulations. You literally can't be a testimony without it. So it's like, you might as well thug it out, go through it, and dust it off. Try again. There's no point of being like, I'm not trying that route this way because I failed at it. Okay, well, honestly, maybe it's not that you failed at it. Maybe it's the fact that you looked at yourself like a failure, and then you shut yourself down. You closed so many doors for yourself, literally just being in that mindset. Once you change your mind into a energy that's open, you will start receiving people, ideas, and everything that will help you in that process, in that path. So it's like, the best thing you could do to maintain, don't shut yourself out and don't sell yourself short, because you literally could be hurting yourself when you could be helping yourself a bit more. But maybe that is a part of the process. Maybe you need to experience that. Just don't ever see yourself as a failure.
Saying, like, it's okay to mess up. It's okay to have mistakes, because we're bound to. We're not perfect. We need to stop.
We're human.
Like we're perfect. Like, people need to drop that freaking idea and concept of we're perfect. Really, because there's no such thing as perfect. What is the standard of perfect? What does that look like? You know what I'm saying?
The process of getting to know yourself is the spiritual battle. I feel like another way of maintaining yourself in this spiritual battle is not only knowing or being aware that you're in a spiritual battle and acceptance and all that, but understanding that like you're gonna have many realizations about yourself because it's a journey about seeking yourself. And when I talk about these journeys of self, I'm talking about what people call your spiritual awakening.
So I don't know why the fuck she dancing like that and look like that, because a spiritual awakening is damn depressing as fuck. And you feel like you're about to unalive yourself, but it's very much needed. And it's just you realizing that you're having a human experience. That's all.
You are going to experience so many different epiphanies and realizations about yourself. People are going to fall off from you because once you change your mind or like you adopt a different ideology about life, that's like adopting another energy about yourself. And once you transition into a different energy, everything around like else around you that's not matching that energy falls off, or per se like you're just rising above that. So people, ideas, certain situations or opportunities that would have initially came your way at that time may fall off, or you may gain something.
Because it never ends. It's like one of my mentors, which is they told me like at the time when I was like 22 at the time, like they told me something that they was like in their early 40s. They was like, Alex, they was like, yo, we're in our early 40s, barely now getting salary jobs in the creative space. It never ends. You're never gonna. It's a always forever ongoing process. It sometimes feels daunting, but that's the beauty of it.
Another way that we maintain in this spiritual battle is understanding, like how we discussed in the podcast, is it's a process. Growth is a process. So it's like you can never ever really feel like you ever arrived. And once you have this idea that I've arrived, that's when you're going to start to get stuck in a certain ideology. And to be honest, it could count against you sometimes when you feel like you arrived. Feeling like you arrived can stop you from learning or even being able to see the God in others, I feel like. Because it's like what you're saying is like, okay, I've went through everything and I've healed myself so completely that I don't really need anybody else's input. And that's just totally wrong as fuck. Like, bitch, you always gonna be learning. Like, there's so much more. Like, don't ever just think you know something, ever. Like Janae said, like, everything we think we know must go. And I feel like I need to put that motherfucking soul on so you guys can see it. But yeah, everything you think you know, you can't take it with you when you go.
Learning to just some things just let it be. Because you stressing yourself out, you building yourself up to be mad and angry and stuff, and all that's gonna do is make you weaker and stuff and all that, make you depressed, make you sad and stuff. And why deal with that? You want to be happy, you want to be at peace and stuff and all that. And I just been at so much peace because I've been able to focus on myself, pour into myself, do what I want to do for myself, compared to worry about what the next person thinks. Oh, what this person wants for me, what this person expects from me, what this person says Destiny should be doing and stuff. And Destiny should be focused on what Destiny needs to be doing. How she wants to do it, when she wants to do it. At my time, on my pace.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but self-love and self-care is more than going to go get your nails done or going on a retail therapy shopping spree because you're sad, or going on vacation every other weekend, or taking off of work for 10 days. Self-love and self-care, when it really comes down to it, is so hard, and it's something that you have to work at every single day. It's literally you changing your mindset, and it's a lifestyle change for sure. It could be saying no to bullshit, reacting less to bullshit, kicking people out of your life that bring something toxic and that just makes you mad or makes you sad or setting you back in some type of way, limiting people's access to you that no longer serve a purpose for you, and you want to start showing up for yourself and you want better for yourself, and you can't rely on someone else to bring that to you. You have to find it in yourself.
Okay, I need to say this. Healing is not becoming the best version of yourself. Healing is letting the worst version of yourself be loved. So many of us have turned healing into becoming this super perfect version of ourselves. That is bondage, right? That is anxiety waiting to happen. Healing is saying every single version of me deserves love, deserves tenderness, deserves grace. When we get to a place where we see and can empathize with every version of ourselves, even the version of ourselves that we can sometimes be ashamed of, that's when we know we're walking in a path of healing.
Isolation. It was literally like, bitch, like sit down, learn yourself, because now you're here heartbroken. And it was literally like life forced it. Everybody that I was close to started breaking apart, breaking away from me. And I'm just thinking like, why are you breaking? What did I do? You know what I'm saying?
Being by yourself is very essential to growth, because if you're going to seek yourself, it's kind of hard to seek yourself when you have so many others around all the time. Sometimes you just need you so that you can zero in, and that's the best times I feel like when you hear God is when you're by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have that battle with yourself, but you're gonna know when it's God, because it's gonna be that peace that enters the chat. Okay, it's gonna be that serenity. It's gonna be calm, and it's gonna be very clear. Like when you're isolated, it gives you time to just focus on yourself. You're gonna start getting ideas of like, maybe I want to take this dance class, or maybe I want to do this job over here. You know, it's just you. So ain't nobody else giving their input about how you should do A, B, and C. And sometimes it's scary for us to be isolated, because sometimes we feel like we need that outside. But isolation builds confidence. So once you're confident in yourself, you begin to trust the process a lot more. And trusting the process is trusting God, trusting yourself. So we need that piece of isolation in our lives. We didn't mention this in the podcast in the discussion, but confidence. I feel like confidence is very much needed to maintain in this spiritual battle, because you're definitely going to have people, sometimes you're going to have people come against you, like family and friends, you know? And when I say come against you, I don't mean like they're trying to fight you. And sometimes you may actually have a physical fight, but it's just the difference in ideologies. Like once you change your mind and you stay on a certain path for yourself, some people will try to take you off that path because they don't understand. But you need to be confident in yourself to know what's for you is for you. And that's another hard part of maintaining the spiritual battle, is standing firm in your foundation. What's going to work for you may not work for another person. Another way to maintain the spiritual battle is creating healthy boundaries for yourself. Not boundaries that you looked up on Google and they said that this is what's going to work for you. No, create your own boundaries. Boundaries that you know that you need. Like if you know you can't stand seeing a certain person on social media and you need to block them. I do not care. I am the number one person. I will block you. Okay? Like if I'm not fucking with the way that you're moving no more, or I'm mad, whatever, I'll block you, because I can't take that right now. And that's the process. You know what I'm saying? For instance, like you know that a certain person kind of puts you in a frame of mind that's like, you might not have to go to that event because that person's there, and it might be petty to other people, but that's your boundary. You know what I'm saying? And can't nobody shake you from your boundaries. And anybody who presses and wants to break your boundaries, I feel like that's a red flag. And me, I cut people off. I don't know if it's a Scorpio thing, but I will cut you off real fast. So create boundaries that's safe for you. Healthy boundaries that's for you. Because it's going to change, but at the end of the day, you don't want to put yourself in a situation that's not healthy for you just because you want to people please and make everybody else feel good. But what about yourself?
I spent the whole 2022 pouring into myself, basically trying to figure out, like, you know, what is my goal in life? What do I want and stuff? The things that I want to do, how I want to do it. You know, what ways I need to fix myself. You know, what I need to work on within myself, because things that I'm dealing with.
I do really believe 2022 was a year of preparation, and because you're not the first person that I can relate to where I've heard the story of 2022 was a year where they had to like learn themselves and be comfortable with loving yourself, being by yourself. I really believe like that was purposely done for preparation. You know what I'm saying? Because this is an area that we're not comfortable in. First, it starts with us. that's what this spiritual battle is about. Is us, not about nobody else.
A lot of people in life always want to get the results. Like they think the result is the purpose, but the purpose is the process. And I think a lot of times in life, a lot of people don't want to go through the process things because a lot of times going through the process requires change, resistance, maneuvering, constant adjustment. Yeah,
Exactly.
and I think
Being uncomfortable.
you can't pour from an empty cup. Like if you can't really be there for yourself, you can't really be there for others.
You know, me always being like, I know, and sometimes I have to shut up and listen to hear what the person's telling me to give me that guidance and show me and the support. Like, oh, you can do things this way instead of doing things the other way. You know.
It heals relationships. When you learn to listen, you're literally allowing the other person to be themselves, to express themselves. Parenting is probably the best example. When you're a parent and your child comes to you with a problem, usually that triggers you. Oh, why do you have a problem? Blah, blah, blah. Very, very few parents actually listen. And by listening to your child, and this is something if you're a parent or a husband or a wife, whatever your role is, tomorrow, tonight, just listen. Ask a question. I'll ask my wife a question and practice not speaking, just listening. It heals relationships in the outer world. That's why it's a magic skill. It's an enlightened skill. If you learn to listen, all of your relationships will be healed. That's the solution to building deeper and more meaningful relationships. Remember I said it's going to require work. It's going to require shifting your skills from analyzing and comparing and constantly talking to a totally inner set of skills. In the inner world, listening allows you to quiet your mind and bring you back to peace and balance.
And with that being said, we're going to pause it right there because there's so much more to add to this conversation. I am MayaJanai, and you just listened to episode 1 of How to Maintain Yourself in a Spiritual Battle. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube, follow all my socials, follow MayaJanai, my Instagram, follow my YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube. Go ahead and follow my TikTok, and I'll just make sure I include all my socials so that everybody can keep up with what I'm doing, because I don't only just keep this topic of conversation for the podcast. This is like my visual journal. I talk about this stuff all the time with my friends and family, and I just would like to continue this conversation and leave it open for everybody. This is MayaJanai with the You and You podcast, the unseen and the unheard, raw and unfiltered conversations. I will see you guys next week. So like I mentioned earlier, I definitely wanted to add in the clip of Janae's song because, first of all, nobody knows about it because it came out such a long time ago, but it has such a good message to it. So I would like to leave that message with you guys in the end.